Brand new day. Every single day of our lives is a brand new day. But just in saying those words, just this moment, I thought of a talk that Gil Gardner gave here. Oh geez, Kelly, what was it, 20 years ago? Yeah, it was about 20 years ago. And he said, you know, when we wake up in the morning, we have the freedom in this country to pretty much do whatever we would like to do. And especially as we get older, we have more discretionary time. We have a little more, maybe affluence. We have more, just more everything, wisdom. And we can do whatever we want to do with today. And the only cost is that it requires a day of our life. And I thought that was pretty a profound realization. Yeah, I can do, but it's going to cost me a day of my life. When we're in our 20s and 30s, we're 7 foot tall and bulletproof. We got nothing but time. But as we mature, these days become more valuable. But now go where I thought about going this morning. A brand new day. Are we going to live a brand new day? Or are we going to live yesterday? Or the last 40 years of yesterday? We can live a brand new day today. But we won't live that thinking the same thoughts, having the same reactions, the same responses, going through the same old, same old, same old. It'll just be like yesterday and yesterday last year and the year before. If we want a brand new day and experience it, let go of all those daily habits. Let go of all those daily responses of human, same old stuff. Experience something new. Think about it for a moment and choose to do something you never did before. Or to just have a different opinion about today. And sometimes just choosing to have a different opinion about today can make a change. I was having a conversation with somebody. You know, I got COPD and I've had some heart attacks. So I take a whole multitude of little pills every morning when I wake up. And one of them is a vitamin D3 pill. I don't call it D3. It's just another vitamin. Everybody takes it. I call it my happy pill. And it says H on the top of the bottle. That's my happy pill. And when I take it every morning, I tell myself, you had your happy pill, so start off the day happy and see what happens. And dear friends, I'll tell you what, it makes a difference. It really does. Just being conscious that I'm going to start off happy. It's a brand new day, and it works. It just works, for me at least. And I don't think I'm any different than anybody in this room. So that's something to ponder. It's a brand new day. Why don't we truly have a brand new day? And so it is.
Before the mini on that little note that he gave about starting the day happy, yesterday was a long, long day of work, far away from home. But one of those joy moments, I'm allergic to bees, but I used to keep them. I love the little guys, right? And while I was out there at work, one of these little guys came along and landed on here, and I was able to snap a picture. So I was the branch where the little bee took a rest for a while. And we just hung out together. It was so freaking cool. So my little mini, okay, on the arch of a place with a rather rough history was the sayings, Arbeit macht frei. Work sets you free. And it's funny how 80, 90 years later, oppressors are perverting those words in similar ways. At a plaque at the same location is a, these words were odd, that said it was detranslated. There's a phrase that was detranslated from the language down into English and Polish into those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it. The gentleman that wrote this, by the best fact checking I could do, was George Santayana. He was a Spanish man, and it was in a book, 1905, The Life of Reason. Similar things, words get adjusted, morphed, through times to suit a different audience, right? Winston Churchill had a similar thought in 1948 in an address to the British House of Commons, where he said, "Those that fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it." But AI out there is wanting to whitewash history and say that he didn't say that. But the best I could do on fact checking it was there. What I found is that some of our greatest human evolution has come from making great mistakes and learning from them, choosing to try another way and avoid repeating those mistakes. There's a pastor in Germany, Pastor Martin Niemöller, and he wrote a poem called "And Then They Came." First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I wasn't socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. In this modern era, I can get sucked into all the media that's out there in a minute and, be trapped for hours, right? Well, one of those things, TikTok, be careful, that'll hold you hostage forever, right? But my feeds of what I look for are spoken word, artistic expression, young people's voices, passion. And just like back in the day, I saw a morph, modern era, same poem. History behind that pastor is that in 1937 to 1945, he was a prisoner in the Nazi prisons and concentration camps for being a critic of Hitler's interference in the Protestant church. But he had regrets. This modern version of that same poem, youngster, and there's a couple different morphs because they add in lines for all of the lesser groups. First, they came for the immigrants, and we spoke out because no one was illegal. And then they came for the trans people, and we spoke out because identity is not up for debate. And then they came for the women, and we spoke out because we knew that control did not mean equality. And then they came for the teachers, and we spoke out because we knew truth still needed to be taught. And then they came for the scientists, and we spoke out because facts didn't care who was in power. And then they came for the journalists, and we spoke out because we knew silence meant surrender. And then they came for the protesters, and we spoke out because resistance was a choice. And then they came for the voters, and we spoke out because democracy wouldn't defend itself. And then they came for the civil servants, and we spoke out because power had to answer to the people. And then they came for the judges, and we spoke out because justice had to be defended. And then they came for democracy, so we spoke out because we wouldn't hand it over. And then they came for us, and we were ready. I'm going to close with a song. There was a song I heard as a child that was a theme in a movie. I think it was called Birdman or something. In the 60s and 70s, there were a lot of movies about World War II era, heroes and all that kind of stuff. But this movie kind of stuck with me about them doing a good job. And the song was in German, but and I didn't quite understand it, even though a good part of my heritage is German. But what I felt from that song was a really strong expression of conviction and passion. The original song was likely shared in 1780. It was a German folk song, so it falls under the traditional Anon, so I don't need to pay a duty fee, and we can be okay to share that. The most popular version was rendered by Hoffmann von Wallersleben in 1842. In 1780, leaflets were dropped. Okay, now this is not a time when leaflets were dropped from airplanes. There were 4 stanzas, and later a 5th was added. And it became popular as a protest song up against political oppression and censorship, and was banned in 1848 in Germany, and yet survives today. The folk song lyrics evolve and adapt just like poems that I shared. And I'm going to give you Pete Seeger's version because it's in English. Die Gedanken sind frei, my thoughts freely flower. Die Gedanken sind frei, my thoughts give me power. No scholar can map them, no hunter can trap them, no man can deny. Die Gedanken sind frei. I think as I please, and this gives me pleasure. My conscience decrees, this right I must treasure. My thoughts will not cater to duke or dictator, no man can deny. Die Gedanken sind frei. Tyrants can take me and throw me in prison. My thoughts will burst forth like blossoms in season. Foundations may crumble and structures may tumble, but free men shall cry. Die Gedanken sind frei. Means my thoughts are free. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sabrena. And I should tell everyone that Sabrena is here just by miracle. She worked till midnight last night down somewhere in Stockton, and she just got home in time to get here today. So thank you very much. Well, good morning and welcome to everyone. Good morning. I'd like to start announcements today by reminding everyone that back there in the foyer, in that little black box, it's got a hole on top that says suggestions or ideas. And those are read. And I looked this morning and there were several suggestions in there, and I read them all over. And I've actually decided to speak today anyway. So anyways, we had a great board chat today. And I think some great things are going to happen this year with our board and new endeavors. Announcements are tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock, the Healing Circle. I'll get that right, circle round thing. The Healing Circle will be right here at 7 o'clock. This Thursday is not the ladies' spiritual book study. That is the following Thursday. I've got some more things here. The potluck will be the 27th of this month. And then on May 4th, there is a tradition here in Cotati, and that's the old-time Cotati chicken barbecue that is put on by the Cotati Historical Society. And we sell tickets beforehand. And it's right across the street, starts right after church at noon. It's over at right next door to the police department. Part of it's in the Cotati room, part of it's outside. But you get a half a chicken, baked beans, salad, and all kinds of stuff and a drink. And they have a silent auction. They have the best baked goods. The ladies in Cotati know how to bake stuff. And I spend more at the bake sale than I do on the chicken. But anyway, it's $25 at the door, and there's a car show and band. It's just like a whole afternoon of great stuff. And they open the museum. Did I forget anything else? It's just a pretty cool event. But we sell tickets for $20 before the event. So I've got a bunch of tickets. If anybody's interested, you can save by $5 and get your ticket early. And I will have them on my person from now until the first of the month. So here we go. We got like 2 or 3 weeks to get tickets if you want them beforehand. That's on the 4th of May. Yesterday we had a wonderful work party, and it smells a little funny outside because we were able to get a couple yards of organic mulch, and mulch our flower beds, and we're like half done. We got this out here and this here to do yet, but it was like we got the yard mowed and trim and stuff done, and weeded the flower beds and mulched them down, and we loaded up a whole big trailer full of debris that's going to the wood heaven like Tuesday, I think. And so it was just a great day, and we had fun. Everybody was here, and thank you all for showing up and doing stuff. And our next work party, and it will probably be outdoor, an outdoor theme as well, will be on the 10th of May. So that's something to look forward to. Put it on your calendars. Knock everything else off your calendar. Coming to have the party here at the church with the rest of us from 9 a.m. till noon. I'm going to talk about something else. We were given a very generous donation not long ago in the amount of $3,000. And the board has been wanting for several years to change our corporation and bring it up to the 21st century instead of the 19th century, or the 20th century. We were incorporated in 1907. That was several years before there was an IRS, and so we're updating our articles of incorporation and getting a different tax determination, and that cost, the board has gone forward with that, but that cost is $6,000. So we're dealing with $3,000 of unbudgeted expense, and if anybody could care to help out with that, would be very grateful. And but it's going along, so and we're really excited. We want to do that for a long time. So, any other announcements? I got notes here. Let's make sure I'm getting them all. I think that's all. Oh, yes.
Don't forget the food girl next door. No perishables, and make sure it's not expired when you drop things in there. When it's full, I give them a call. And then I told you guys a couple weeks ago, this afternoon is benefit concert with Joyful Noise out in Sebastopol. It's from 4 to 5:30 p.m. and the benefit is for Sonoma Secure Families Collaborative. The location is St. Stephen's Episcopal Church. Joyful Noise will be performing. I haven't had enough sleep, I won't be here. But please go support them. It's a good event. You know, folk music, spiritual, and it'll get you up out of your seats, and they'll probably include you in the singing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other announcements? Well, there being none, then at this time, this is when we speak out names of people that we know of that are going through a dark time in life, some real challenge. And we will take the next few minutes and send our light and our love and compassion to those that could use some light and love and compassion. So if you'd speak out a name of anyone that could use our
Consciousness.
Yes, thank you.
Kibble.
Yes?
Catherine.
Catherine?
Joyce. Ron. Neil. Charles. Catherine. Clint.
We've heard all these names. And those are just the folks that we know. And there are so many that we don't know. So let's direct our light and our love and our intention for the highest good to those names that we've heard and others who could use our light. And it's our trust in spirit that projects that light all across the universe. And so it is. When we talk about this universe, so many times we think about our problems and what's wrong and where we need help. But we're just one little group, one little country in this universe, in this world. Let's open our wings of song, and that's the Heartbound book, and turn to page 206 and sing just the first two verses of This Is My Song, verses 1 and 2. And we could stand and do that. We have the wonderful opportunity of greeting each other in the traditional Church of the Oaks fashion. Okay. All right, see me right after church. I'll get you one. What's that? Okay, we'll do it over in the hall. I'm sorry, what?
Look at this.
With a little help from your friends. How about we all just take a deep breathe in and a nice deep breathe out. Just gotta sit here and feel the warmth and the empathy, compassion, familyness, whatever you want to call it, but you can't not feel it sitting here. I feel it here. I feel every one of you in this room. We feel when we're together. And we're sitting here in these buildings that were gifted to us. You become part owner of these buildings when you become a member of this wonderful family. And it's just, there's so much that I don't think if we just took a pencil and paper and wrote down all of the abundance in each one of our individual lives, we could have a huge book the size of a phone book, and we'd still leave a lot of stuff out that we forgot or took for granted. So let's read together, if we may, our affirmation of abundance. When we truly begin to want more for others than we want for ourselves, we will begin noticing amazing changes in our own lives. May we ponder that, sir. As we prepare for our practice this morning, let's sing together in the stillness of the silence, number 97 in the Winds of Song.
Morning. So we are going to enter into the stillness and the silence for today's practice, but we're going to add a somatic piece to it, which we've done in these practices before, because there's a way in which Patrick has demonstrated it here with the heart-mind connection. You can use your body to cultivate particular states of mind, whether it's a hand position or a body position, standing, sitting down. All of these things change our awareness very subtly. And we hear a lot from the pulpit here about awareness and how important it is, and I couldn't agree more. However, I've also found that there is a benefit to be found in remembering and recognizing that our awareness as human beings is so very limited, and there's only so much we can become aware of, but that doesn't mean we can't cultivate a relationship with the unseen, with the mystery. And one way that I like to do that is by physically taking a position, a form that signals to my mind surrender or humility. And so for today's practice, what I'm going to invite you to do is to simply bow your head. And it doesn't matter what you think you're bowing to or whether you're bowing to anything at all other than life itself. But in the act of bowing your head, you are signaling to the universe humility. You're signaling a recognition that there is something greater, something far vaster than you can become aware of, and yet you are inextricably a part of that. And it is a part of you. Just notice what arises in your awareness as you bow your head to that mystery. The silent invitation for it to visit you. Notice the presence that this stillness and silence carries with it. And know that it is a part of you. A source of power. Perhaps make a note to yourself to cultivate this and call it in more often. By simply bowing your head in gratitude each day. Namaste.
Today, so many Christian churches are celebrating Palm Sunday. This is Easter week, and I'm sure as anybody here, everybody has an idea about Easter. We just grew up in time Easter. If it's nothing than Easter baskets and candy, and everybody has celebrated Easter in whatever fashion ongoing. We don't, as Church of the Oaks, we don't follow a lot of the Christian traditional celebrations and holy days. But we do, I'm just kind of amazed right now, this whole story about Easter. And it kind of coincides with maybe what we're living through right now. This Palm Sunday, that's when Jesus came to town, and he was a rock star dude. He was so popular, and a week later he's dead. And we're going through life, and sometimes we're rock stars. And in just a very short amount of time, it all goes away. It becomes horrible and terrible. And in that, I think all of us have those same situations of life. Farmers in Indiana were out getting ready to start plowing and planting corn. Beautiful day, and by 3 o'clock that afternoon, their barn's blown away, half the town is blown away. Wow. To date, 437 tornadoes this year. I want to read something, and I don't know if this is the right place to read it, but we'll just make believe it's perfect. It's called Nature is Speaking. I've read it before, but I think we could listen to it again. Some call me nature, others call me Mother Nature. I've been here for over 4.5 billion years. That's 22,500 times longer than you people. I don't really need people, but people need me. Yes, your future depends on me. When I thrive, you thrive. When I falter, you falter, or worse. But I've been here for eons. I have fed species greater than you. I have starved species greater than you. My oceans, my soil, my flowing streams, my forests, they can all take you or leave you. How you choose to live each day, whether you regard or disregard me, doesn't really matter to me, one way or the other. Your actions will determine your fate, not mine. I am nature. I will go on. I am prepared to evolve. Are you? You know, so much of the suffering we face in our lives comes from our own actions. I used to live out in Kansas, and we had tornadoes. And they started tracking tornadoes, keeping track about 1950. And for all those years, for the last 70 years, basically the average has been about 1,200 tornadoes a year. And we have the most tornadoes of any country in the world, for some reason. I think it's the mountains and just how we are. But last year, we didn't have the 1,200 average. We had 1,960 tornadoes. And we've had 437 tornadoes in the first 3 months of this year. And it's not tornado season out in the Midwest. And they expect to go over 2,000. And all the weather changes, all this tragic typhoons and fires and tornadoes and hurricanes are all worse than in recorded history. And I think that's because we have disregarded, as a global society, disregarded nature. We have raped and plundered and just been very comfortable with our air conditioning and driving up and down the road. And I think that we've lost connection with nature. lost connection with our humility. Natalie was talking about this morning. All of the highs and lows that we experience in our life. The Easter story. What's the foundation? What's the nugget that we need to hang on to through all the ups and downs and the story of Christ and how he died and what he died for, and the ascension, rising again. What's the nugget here we can hang on to? I think it's when we release all this physical stuff and get back in touch with the unseen, with our own divine. That's where the peace is. That's where the value is. And all the rest of the highs and the lows and the chaos and all the stuff we do, that's just going through the motions. That's bouncing from one thing to another. But the real stability, the satisfaction that we feel in our lives comes with our connection with the divine, within and without, everywhere. And this springtime, everything is growing. Everything is beautiful. That's why yesterday was kind of so meaningful for me. I didn't do anything. I just watched and had donuts. But I watched people with their hands in the dirt, getting rid of the weeds and putting down the mulch, cleaning the grass, sweeping the sidewalks, hauling away the brush to make more mulch. We're taking the brush right back to where we got the mulch, and it will become mulch. And I thought, what a great example, just for a brief time, to come together in fellowship and be hands-on, in touch with nature, with something we can't just barely begin to understand. In this springtime, we can have brand new days. We can make little adjustments in our attitudes about things. We can kind of let all the chaos and stuff just go by. It's going to happen. It's been happening ever since there were three people. Three people created chaos. And that's going to be as long as there are people. But if you look at the people who are genuinely happy, who genuinely make a good difference in our society, those are people who have a connection with their divine. Those are people who work to establish great relationships with other people, other organizations. They wake up to new days, brand new days, and they don't see the chaos, they don't see the fear and the anxiety, they see opportunities to create something new and valuable in this universe. They wake up and see opportunities to have new relationships. They see opportunities to get rid of a couple of those old habits that don't serve them very well anymore. They wake up to opportunities to grow in understanding of all the mysteries, of all the unknown. And there's not a person in this room who hasn't had, I don't know if I'll call it a mystical experience. You can call, but had one of those moments where they became aware of something. Can't describe it, don't know what it is, don't have it figured out, but it's awe. We are in awe of that divine, of that unseen. And I think we can all find some room in each one of our days to be aware of that unseen, to be aware of the possibilities that every one of us can have as we have our brand new day. Our little board discussion this morning, we talked about possibilities that are, I just sat and smiled the whole discussion. We have so many opportunities that could just materialize right in front of us if we stay focused and we're committed to making them happen. Every day is a brand new day. And I don't know if this experience that societies throughout the world are experiencing right now, they're so much like experiences that the world went through 2,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago. Is it coincidence? I don't think so. I think it's just civilization. And we could live our lives in that chaotic cycle, or we can have a brand new day. We can focus on the unseen and the peace that is in that unseen. And when we connect with that, we can have almost a surreal understanding and experience that makes life a whole different kind of worth living. It puts a whole new slant on relationships. We're talking about strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and potential threats this morning as a board to see where we're going and what we're doing. And every one of our relationships that we have with people has the potential for being something beautiful. And I think it's our opportunity, golden opportunity, to look for that beauty. We sit here amongst each other week after week, and we get to know each other, and we get to depend on each other. And we have a relationship, a family relationship, that's not judgmental, it's accepting, it's empathetic, it's compassionate, it's caring, it's supportive. And that's what makes us a very special family. So as we go through this beautiful springtime and this season that everybody talks about Easter, let's go buy some candy and give some of it away, but keep some of it for ourselves so we can enjoy the day and think about the joy as we eat that candy. How many people in the world don't have a chance for candy right now? You're so fortunate. And if we can remember how fortunate we are and give thanks for how fortunate we are and share some of that joy, that realization with others, I can't think of a better way to live life. So we're going to sing, I think it's number 210 or something in the song, 210 in the hardback, in the Wings of Song. A family of love. That's what we have become. This church has been here since 1901, this body of people. It's never stopped. It's had some bumpy roads, it's had some great times, it's had some tough times. but that's what makes the strength of a family. So Wayne, if you can jump up to that piano, sir, you don't have to jump, you can just kind of.
I jumped.
Okay.
You missed it.
Cool.
I saw it.
And let's sing a family of love. And when we're done singing a family of love, let's go next door and have a cup of coffee together and have a cookie. There's donuts. And just be a family for a little while longer today. It tastes good, it feels good, and it's really awesome. Trust me. And so it is.
All right, lady. You too. I'm gonna eat cookies and candy. See you.